Quentin Hunt is a criminal defence barrister at 2 Bedford Row, which is a barrister's chambers. Quentin, I wonder if I could ask you first about the very swift justice that has been meted out to people who have been convicted and sentenced for rioting and for attacking the police, because there are a lot of people who will feel that this is very, very fast. I wonder if you think it's too fast.
I don't think so. The criminal justice system doesn't differentiate between urgent cases in the public interest and other cases. The matters move through the court in the same way as other cases may do. The fact is that these individuals have pleaded guilty and they have had their sentencing hearing in the same way that anybody else would if they pleaded guilty in similar circumstances.
So, I mean, it's interesting that lots of people are talking to us about two-tier policing, for example, Quentin, where I've spoken to a government minister about that. I did that yesterday, and kind of what people see as two-tier justice. I actually did an interview with the solicitor for those involved and accused of being involved and on police bail, indeed, for the Manchester Airport incident there. And we've heard today a second police officer is being investigated by the Independent Office for Police Complaints. Do you think it was wise for a solicitor I was delighted to talk to him, an exclusive interview on Talk. Do you think it's wise for a solicitor to do an interview about a live police investigation in which his clients are involved?
Well, there are very specific regulations.
And the press conference the other day, I should say.
Yes, I mean, there are very specific regulations put in place by the Law Society in respect of what a representative can and can't put out in respect of media comment, etc. The overriding guidance is that they can't cause material prejudice to the eventual outcome of a case. They are allowed to come out effectively to bat for their client, to put aside any wrongful information that may be out there. But what the guidance does say is that those individuals have to be very careful about what they say. And the guidance goes on to say that that is particularly important in criminal cases, as opposed to civil cases where the prejudice might not be as much. I personally would be very careful indeed about what I said in respect of any ongoing case involving a client of mine.
So if you were asked, let's say there was an active case, hypothetically, there was an active case that you were involved with, Quentin, you were defending somebody, and there was a solicitor you were working with. Obviously barristers work with solicitors, solicitors instruct barristers, barristers represent their clients. And we gave you a ring and said, can you talk about your client? There's an active case. Presumably you would say no.
Absolutely.
And you'd advise the solicitor to say no?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Very, very interesting. Just in terms of the fact that this is ongoing and the Manchester incident in general, there's been a lot of comment on this. There's been a lot of people getting in touch saying, why is it taking so long? In your professional experience as a criminal defence barrister, is it taking any longer than a similar thing would have taken otherwise?
I don't think so. It's very difficult to say what the position is because none of us have a window into the police investigation. This is high profile, and the police will obviously be working on this in the same way that they work on other cases, but they are constrained by various factors that are sometimes outside of their control. For example, if the police have to interrogate media devices, then there's a massive backlog. And they put it into the Forensic Telecommunications Service, which is what they use to interrogate media devices, and it will take its place in the queue. I've got cases where devices are being digitally analysed. It's taken months for a charging decision to be made because the police need to look at all of the evidence, which will include evidence from media devices. So that's but one example of something that can effectively delay things and make things take longer.
It's interesting as well because I should give Greater Manchester Police their say in all of this. They say we understand there is continued public interest and concern about the criminal investigations being led by Greater Manchester Police into a series of incidents at Manchester Airport in July. 4 men remain on police bail. Our major incident team, led by an experienced senior investigating officer, has made good progress in investigating alleged criminal offences against both the public and police officers, and we are committed to reaching a conclusion to the investigation as soon as is possible in the interest of justice. This is a complex case, so we ask for public support and bearing with us while we make sure that inquiries are completed thoroughly. We also remain fully committed, Greater Manchester Police says, to supporting the Independent Office of Police Complaints-led investigation into our officers' actions. No apostrophe on that, but I presume it's apostrophe, Officer S apostrophe, because there are now two officers who are under investigation by the IOPC. So you're saying that this is, this by itself is actually not taking any longer than usual necessarily. I mean, I wonder what you make of that police statement asking for people to bear with us in that. Do you think we should? Do you think we should keep the pressure on to find out what happens? But of course, the law has to take its course. But people are impatient, and sometimes they will see the very swift justice meted out to people who were breaking the law and they've been convicted of it. But actually, this is taking longer. Yes,
I mean, from what I've seen in respect of the Manchester case, it is, there are complexities to it. There's an exercise that has to be undertaken into looking at all of the evidence and finding out who's at fault and finding out who should be criminally prosecuted. And the police and CPS will be under real pressure to get this right. And in those circumstances, I can see that they would want to perhaps make sure that the correct decision's been brought by putting it through all of their various processes. In some cases, for example, where you have somebody taking part in violent disorder or a riot, they're caught on CCTV. It's an open and shut case. Very easy.
So that's why it can go through the process so quickly.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
But where things are a little more nuanced, there's a lot of background. There's perhaps lots of things on media devices. The different points of view need to be explored. Then it's going to take longer. It just naturally will.
Okay. I just want to play you a clip from last night from the counter-protest. This is Councillor Ricky Jones saying something highly offensive. Let's see this.
We've got children and women using those trains, destroying the summer relatives. They are disgusting, nasty factors, and we need to cut all their throats and get rid of them all. I just want to say thank you all. I'm going to leave it now. And free! 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 Palestine! Free! Free! Palestine! Free! Free! Palestine! Thank you. God bless you all.
Now, we know that Councillor Ricky Jones has been suspended from the Labour Party and arrested. If he is charged, what is he likely to be charged with, Quentin?
Well, I mean, there are numerous offences relating to public order offences, for example, relating to offences in respect of the sort of provocations that he's talking about. It would be hard to say at this stage exactly what he would be charged with, because you'd need to know exactly the background to the demonstration, etc.
Yeah.
It's all in context.
Okay, so but we should hear more about this, you think, relatively soon. This doesn't strike you as a particularly complex investigation?
From what I've seen, I don't think so, no.
Okay. Quentin, thank you. You've cast a lot of light on a lot of things in a short period of time, and I really appreciate it. That's Quentin Hunt there, who is a criminal defence barrister at 2 Bedford Row Barristers' Chambers.